Layla, the wife who never stopped being a wife. The boy did not recognize his mother. The girl did. The moment the stranger appeared at the edge of the village, Noura dropped the basket she was carrying. Mother? The woman stopped walking. Tears filled her eyes. Yes, she whispered. Noura ran. The woman ran. 5 years of grief disappeared in a single embrace. Yusuf stood frozen. He remembered a mother, but only barely. Half his life had passed since she vanished. Then he noticed the little boy standing beside the stranger, a child he had never seen before. And behind him came Harith. For 5 years he had searched for Layla. For 5 years he had chased rumors, questioned travelers, and refused to surrender hope. The moment he saw her, he ran. Then he saw the child, and stopped. The world seemed to fall silent. 5 years earlier, Layla had been 28 years old, a wife, a mother who loved ordinary things, the sound of her husband returning home, the laughter of her daughter, the endless questions of her son. Then war came. When the fighting ended, Layla found herself among the captives of Muhammad's army. The women waited, afraid, confused, separated from their families. One question spread through the camp. Many of the women had husbands, living husbands. Layla felt relief. Surely that mattered. Surely no one could simply erase a marriage. Then word spread that a judgment had been sought. The captives watched from a distance. Muhammad spoke. The men around him listened. When the answer came, Layla saw relief spread through many faces. Some smiled. Some thanked God. Some embraced one another. Layla did not understand, not at first. Then an older captive woman beside her began to cry. What happened? Layla asked. The woman lowered her head. Our marriages no longer protect us. Layla stared. What? Our husbands are alive. I know. Then how can this be? The older woman said nothing. Around them, the men were celebrating an answer. Among the women, silence fell. That night, Layla could not sleep. She kept thinking the same thought. Hadith was alive. Somewhere beyond the horizon, her husband still believed she was his wife. Yet here, among strangers, powerful men had decided that no longer mattered. Yet here, among strangers, powerful men had decided that her marriage no longer mattered. Years later, she would remember that night more clearly than any other. Not because it was the worst thing that happened to her, because it was the night she realized how completely powerless she had become. The years that followed passed slowly. Layla survived because of a single belief. She would see her family again. Every night she whispered their names, Hadith, Noura, Yusuf, over and over, like a prayer, like a promise. Time passed. A son was born during her captivity. When she held him for the first time, she cried. Not because she hated him. She did not. The child had done nothing wrong. The child was innocent. She named him Samir. Others told her to forget her old life, to accept her new reality. Layla refused. I'm still a wife, she would whisper. Years passed. She was transferred from one household to another, bought, sold, moved. Every transfer carried the same message. To others, she was property. To herself, she was still waiting to go home. Back in her village, Harith never stopped searching. Many told him to give up. Some told him she was certainly dead. Others urged him to remarry. Harith ignored them all. Every year he spent what little he could spare seeking news. Every year he failed, until finally, after 5 long years, members of Layla's tribe located her. A ransom was arranged. The impossible had happened. She was coming home. And now she stood before him, alive. Hadith looked at her, then at the child. The little boy tightened his grip on Layla's hand. Harith felt joy, relief, gratitude, and a pain so sharp he could barely breathe. The child was innocent. Harith knew that. Yet the child also represented everything that had been taken away from them. 5 years, a marriage interrupted, children growing up without a mother, a wife forced into a life she never chose. That night, Layla told her story. Hadith listened, sometimes silently, sometimes with tears, sometimes with clenched fists. He never blamed her, not once. His anger was reserved for the men and the system that had placed them in this situation. The harder battle began after the reunion. The village talked. Whispers spread. Some welcomed Layla, others stared at Samir. One afternoon the elders arrived. The woman belongs with her family, one said, but the boy does not. Layla's face went pale. Another elder nodded. He is a reminder of humiliation. A third said, leave him with another family. Samir hid behind Layla, terrified. Everyone looked at Harith. For a long time he said nothing. Then he stood. The men who took my wife stole 5 years from us. Silence. They stole years from my daughter. Silence. They stole years from my son. Silence. They stole years from Layla. His voice trembled. And now you ask me to let them take this child as well. Nobody answered. Harith looked at Samir. The boy could barely meet his eyes. Then Harith spoke again. No. The single word echoed through the gathering. No, he did not choose any of this. Harith stepped forward. My wife did not choose it. He swallowed, and neither did he. The argument was over. Samir would stay. Years later, the scars remained. Some wounds never completely healed. Layla never forgot. Hadith never forgot. But one evening, as the children ran through the village, Samir stumbled. Before he could fall, a strong hand caught him. Samir looked up. Harith looked down. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Harith placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. Careful, son. It was the first time he had ever used the word, and for the first time since returning home, Layla allowed herself to believe that the future might contain something more than survival. It might contain peace.